Yo, what's up guys? Daniel here, and today we're going to be taking a look at the Razer Blackwidow X. There's a lot of mixed feelings about Razer products, and especially their keyboards. So is this slimmed down Blackwidow worth it? Let's find out. So the Blackwidow X is a much more minimalistic keyboard when compared to the regular Blackwidow. It's got no macro keys, no USB or audio ports, and it only supports one key switch type. But that being said, the regular Blackwidow was by no means perfect. The plastic casing felt cheap at times, and beyond that, the keyboard was fairly large because of that plastic casing. Well, earlier this year, Razer introduced their Blackwidow X, featuring a metal backplate with no plastic covering. The keyboard feels much more premium than many Razer products do, and if I were to compare it to any other keyboard, I would say it's most similar to the Corsair K-Series, in that it has a nice metal backplate that makes it feel premium, and it also helps the lighting pop a lot more than it would off of plastic, because once the light bounces up and hits the key switch, it bounces back down a bit, and normally it would go off of plastic again. This one just bounces right off the metal, looks nice and vibrant as you can see, and it really helps in making the keyboard feel like a much more premium package. As with all of the Razer Chroma product lineup, this features full RGB lighting, and the software included Razer Synapse gives you a lot of control, including a lot of different effects like wave, breathing, starlight, and many more. And if you have any other Razer Chroma products, you'll know about those quite a bit, but beyond that, the lighting can sync up among all of them. So say you have the Blackwidow X, the Razer Firefly, and one of their mice. I have the Razer Mamba, so I have all three of those products, and the lighting works very well together when you're using one of those effects. It just gives it a nice consistent feel. You can pretty much put your room in full-on rave mode just with your Razer accessories. One of my favorite features of the Razer Chroma product lineup has to be the Chroma Apps. So what this is that supported applications and games can take advantage of or take control of the lighting on your keyboard and light it up based off of different actions. For example, in Overwatch, a game that I play pretty frequently, the keyboard will change colors based off of the character that you're playing as. Certain characters or certain buttons will light up based off of cooldown, so some will change red while they're in cooldown and then go back to normal when the ability is ready to use. Beyond that, it will also flash lights based off of when your ultimate ability is being used. So it's something that, while not necessary, does add a little bit to the game when you're playing, and it's just a little bit more immersive than you otherwise would have had it. Now that being said, the list of supported applications and games are very, very limited. There's, going through the full list, less than 25 games and only about 4 supported applications as of right now. More should be coming, but as of right now, I would not buy this or even take this feature into account when considering which keyboard you buy, because it might be games that you don't actually play. Just something to think of as an extra functionality if you do end up picking it up. So lighting is cool and all, but what about the rest of the keyboard? So the keyboard is using Razer Green switches. They're a clicky switch similar to Cherry MX Blues if you have used those. Razer Greens are made by Kahlua Electronics, maker of the Kale switch, but they aren't Kale switches. Razer has stressed that multiple times. Razer took into account and modified the switches on their own. They're also using a separate Q&A process, so these switches feature a modified actuation point of 50 grams and supposedly increased durability. They should be lasting about 80 million keystrokes. I've yet to have any issues with any of the keys, and I've had this keyboard for a few months now, but keyboards generally, especially mechanical keyboards, don't wear out in a few months, so that's not surprising at all. Only time will really tell if the keys are as durable as Razer says. So the keyboard itself features 10-key rollover and anti-ghosting. It has 1000 Hz ultra polling, which is just Razer's version of polling, I guess. It has a nice braided cable that can be organized along the back of the keyboard, and thanks to Razer Synapse, you can modify any key on there and set up macros or change what they do, remap them to a different button. And you can have all of your settings backed up via the cloud through Razer Synapse, so if you're using multiple computers, you never have to worry about making a change and then not having it on your other device. Overall, this is a pretty solid keyboard with a lot of great features, but it's by no means perfect. The keycaps themselves feel pretty cheap in my opinion, but you can replace those with Cherry-compatible keycaps. The lack of ports, the lack of macro keys, a dedicated volume wheel, and the lack of option for a linear key switch all might put some people off. Razer's Synapse software works fairly well, but in my opinion it seems pretty limited, and it has a lot of issues where it seems to have frequent updates that always require restarting your computer, which I don't personally like. Oh, and we haven't even talked about price yet. The MSRP of this keyboard is $159.99. For only about $10 less than the Black Widow Chroma, but significantly less features. If you're looking for a solid minimalist keyboard with RGB lighting, decent customization, clicky key switches, and some gaming focused features, this may be the keyboard for you. Just keep in mind the cost, as there are a ton of options for under $160 in the keyboard market right now. So it's something you'd want to take a good look at. Try and look for deals on this keyboard if you are interested in picking it up. It's pretty far away, but generally after CES every year, Razer has a big sale, so that might be a good time if you're okay with waiting a few months. Other than that, you're gonna have to look at like a sale on Best Buy or Amazon or Newegg, as Razer rarely has their own products on sale. That's gonna be it for this video, guys. If you found this review helpful, don't forget to like the video. Also, if you currently have a mechanical keyboard, please feel free to leave a comment down below letting me know which one that you have and why you chose that keyboard. It'll all help me make decisions on which keyboards I review in the future, so just any feedback will be helpful there. Speaking of future reviews, I'm currently working on reviewing the Razer Mamba along with the Firefly, so you guys can kind of get a feel for the full Chroma lineup if you were to go that route. I know that, a lot of people don't like Razer products, some people do. I am starting to like them more than I used to, but again, we'll get into more of that in my other reviews, so make sure and subscribe so you don't miss any of that. Thank you guys again for watching, and have a great rest of your day.